Inchwarmers podcast. I am Casey Coggins here with Alvin Hebert.
What's up, y'all?
And Andrew Lira.
Y'all still feel that earthquake?
From Japan?
Not the Mexico one.
That 9.2 on the Richter scale.
Acting like they won the World Cup right there.
Oh my God. Did you see the one tweet about the woman who was like, I'm pretty sure my grandma calls her.
She's blessing the TV. She's blessing the players on the TV.
Yeah. But I mean, they played the game they needed to play, and they caught Germany on a bad night because Germany had a ton of chances to score.
I don't think it was them having a bad night. They had a great game.
In the last 15 minutes, Mexico was grasping for air. They were dying.
All those corners that Germany was getting.
I don't think it was so much they had a bad game. I just think Mexico's defense was on them the whole time. They couldn't.
Well, Germany
better.
Well, that's why I said it was the last 15 minutes. Mexico was starting to fade, and Germany was still able to create attacks. The first 75 is when Mexico's defense was able to stay man to man and actually make Germany take tough shots, calls misses, and stuff like that. But the last 15, I think it was Germany just running out of gas and trying to get the equalizer so bad that a shot that they typically would probably score on in the first 20 minutes with the tired legs and the need to score to tie it kind of causes shots to miss 5 yards out, things to happen that allowed Mexico to stay up 1-0 and get the clean sheet.
Man, and Germany was playing so high up the pitch that they just kept getting countered every time.
I believe Ochoa is, from what I saw, the first player in World Cup history to have a clean sheet against both Brazil and Germany.
Oh, shit.
He had 9 saves. He had a great game.
He needed to have a great game.
Did y'all see the... April showed me a meme of it was a How I Met Your Mother meme, and it was kids. In 2014, I decided to join the Mexican soccer team and be their goalie in the World Cup, and it shows Ochoa and Ted Mosby.
No way! I don't think I've ever seen. I never saw that one. Oh man, that would have been great.
Quick. But yeah, they.
He just seems like a darker Ted Mosby.
Yes,
the architect
with the afro. The curls.
The sweatband and the curls. Hell yeah. Nah, that was a hell of a match, man. We watched it from beginning to end. It was nonstop.
Man, either way, a lot of those shots.
I see it. Yeah, that's it. Hell yeah.
This one's perfect. The college
Ted Mosby. Yep.
It's a lot of those shots were missed so bad too, from both sides. I felt that could have been 5-3, 5-4, type of game.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of games where it's man, those scores could have racked up quick.
They could have ended up like Russia.
Yeah.
Think of how close.
Slaughter. These last 2 goals weren't necessary.
I think we'll dig a little deeper into this later. But think about
okay, Shrek.
Argentina. How bad that score could have been for Iceland, because not just Messi, but a lot of the guys on Argentina. Higuain had a chance late in the game when he came in as a sub. But they had a lot of opportunities, and I know Iceland plays a bend but don't break defense where they pretty much keep one guy closer to midfield and sag the rest of the guys back on defense, and they were triple teaming Messi the entire game. But Argentina still had tons of opportunities.
Yeah, it just didn't look like they were awake.
It was, and there were times where you saw them think about taking the shot, and then they hesitated, and then You know, like I said, Iceland has all those guys back by the box that if you hesitate the 1 second, you're getting tackled. That ball's getting stolen away from you, and Iceland's going to be able to get possession for a little bit. But Argentina they didn't look like they were ready to face a team like Iceland.
And then Portugal, on the other hand,
Ronaldo.
God.
I was watching that.
Ronaldo's game was just pissing me off the whole time. I was like, "Come on now, really?"
I don't necessarily know.
One was a free kick, one was a PK.
I don't know if one was the penalty. I don't know if that penalty should have.
That was like the typical call that he would get.
Mm-hmm. No. That one was the penalty because I was thinking of a different penalty. That was the one where he was assisting into the box and the guy got tackled. He was leading the guy, and that was definitely a penalty because that guy got tackled. But Ronaldo.
You see the shit that was going on today? Those were fucking penalties.
The Korea game.
Yes.
I did.
God, there was a Korea and Sweden.
Yeah.
God damn, they were beating the shit out of each other.
I didn't get to watch that game. I was at work.
I think it was like 32 fouls in the first half or something.
Yeah, it was bad. There was shit, dude.
How many cards? I didn't. I haven't. I saw.
I didn't see how many cards there were.
I saw Sweden 1-0.
Korea had like 5 or 6 yellow cards.
It was about the equivalent of the beating that Neymar took.
Oh man, that was bad.
That ref did not have control of that game either. Like
the ref in the Brazil game, I think, did a really good job at 30 minutes in giving out that first yellow card, and was like, look, y'all are gonna just keep getting booked the more that y'all do this.
But they still did it throughout the whole entire game.
Yeah,
he got beat up.
Yeah. I mean, that's soccer.
It's going to end up just like last year, last World Cup.
People don't realize how physical that, yes, there's a lot of flopping and faking and diving and all that stuff in soccer, but there really are, times where you're watching guys get elbowed in the chest
just
and the
raked
ribs
by the cleats. I was like, ugh.
Or they're kneeing them in the thighs.
Well, because, think of... did y'all play youth soccer growing up? No. Do y'all remember the shin guards that they had, where they were wrapped around your entire fucking leg, and they were an inch thick, and they were heavy duty plastic? Now the shit that they put in their socks is fucking styrofoam.
It's a piece of cardboard.
It's like football pads now. The football pads in the late 90s were these big,
hard
bulky, plastic. And now you look at a receiver. Look at Odell Beckham. He's not wearing any knee pads, thigh pads,
just to get faster on the field.
Barely even any shoulder pads. And you think why there's so many injuries? They're not protecting themselves anymore. To get back to the Portugal game, David De Gea, or what is it? Is it De Gea, the goalie? Is supposed to be the
He's
best
Nicaraguan.
in the world.
He's not Portuguese.
He knows his soccer. And he's
your cousin, right?
I mean, giving up the PK goal is one thing. Giving up a free kick goal is a different thing. Especially with the world class strikers of Ronaldo is probably the best free kick taker in the world because of the power that he gets behind things. Where a lot of other guys where they rely on the spin and the dip and the angle. Ronaldo gets the ball there just a second quicker that the goalie can't react to it. But the 2 goals on the one on the penalty that was drawn by somebody else by the pass of Ronaldo, who put a pass right on the money, right where it needed to be. The run, I can't remember the player who made the run into the box that allowed the pass to come to him. Made a great run, timed it perfectly to keep him onside. Ronaldo played as good of a game as he possibly could. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, Spain isn't the greatest defensive team in the world. They rely a lot more on the midfield play and their attackers because
they still put up 3.
Even their best defenders, throughout their history, have typically been scoring defenders guys like the Sergio Ramoses of the world, who you see on the attacking half, making plays happen from the back, that they should be putting up goals on Portugal, but Portugal should be putting up goals on Spain. Like, that game ended exactly how I kind of was expecting it to. And that's why I had Portugal as winning the group, because I didn't think that Spain's defense would be able to hold Ronaldo.
It's because that they didn't control the midfield. Like, you see all the games where, like, the teams won, it's like the game was controlled by the midfield, them winning the ball back and then just like pushing up the tempo. Like
the end of the English game today, England and Tunisia. Like, Tunisia held their own with their backup goalie and being the underdogs for so long of that game, but you can just see the last kind of like the Mexico-Germany game, like the last 15-20 minutes was controlled by one side. It just so happened that England was able to get a goal out of it, Germany wasn't, because I think England controlled the midfield. When they gave the ball up, they were still attacking the defenders with the ball, causing Tunisia to give the ball up in bad spots and continuously getting corner kicks, putting pressure on the defense of Tunisia, and finally got the header by Harry Kane to win it for them. I was a little disappointed in Costa Rica losing to Serbia. And who else was I disappointed?
I don't think I watched that one.
I didn't watch it either, but I kind of saw what happened, and I think it was just a 1-0 game, but I had Costa Rica advancing in this group, but their last two games are against Brazil and Switzerland. So Serbia was a game that they needed to win.
That one.
So it's unlikely that they're going to advance because Brazil and Switzerland tied, and so they both have the 1 point, and Serbia's at the top of 3. So it'll be tough for Costa Rica. They're going to have to beat Switzerland and hope that Serbia loses to both Switzerland and Brazil.
You know who I liked watching today? Panama. Even though they lost today, but I felt like the first half they was like keeping up with Belgium before that Dries Mertens strike.
Should have been us.
They were keeping up for like fucking 30 minutes, and after that it went downhill.
Yeah, once that Dries Mertens strike went in, like just boop,
the floodgates open.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're up by 3.
It was like, oh shit, we don't belong here.
Lukaku was like,
how the fuck did we beat the United States again? What?
Seriously?
I think my bad. I think that was a game where a team had like 5 or 6 yellow cards. I think it was the Panama game instead of the Korea game that I said. But I mean, they held it for like the first 45.
Yeah, I mean, and then we have the last of the last group to play their first games tomorrow. And I believe there's another game from the second game of Group A is tomorrow. I'm not sure which game it is from Group A.
I think it's Egypt and Russia.
Yeah, because Russia has an extra day off in between the games. So it was a really interesting first weekend, and the first set of games to be played. And there are teams that need to bounce back. There are teams that, they got results, but they could look better.
Brazil
got a result. Spain got a result. Argentina got a result. All of those teams can look better. Even a team like France, like they needed a late goal that ended up being an own goal.
Yeah.
God damn.
That's horrible, man.
And like Egypt, they're a team that has plenty of talent, and I still think will advance from this group because I think they'll win their next 2 games. But they have a lot to prove because of how they hung in with Uruguay, and getting their best player onto the pitch for their next game should help tremendously. So Anything else from the World Cup weekend other than if you have it in your fire, dire, and prophecies?
No.
Any other observations, guys?
You called it right about the world talent just moving up as a whole.
It's so good.
It's been great. It's been a little more balanced than would be expected.
Switzerland, I didn't know that they were that high in the rankings in the world. I was like,
Yeah, I think they're like
very surprised by that.
they're like 8 or something like
Yeah,
that.
they're like 6. They're not that off. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay.
Belgium, I think, was ranked 3.
Yeah,
Belgium's 3, but that's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
They made their kind of what they put in their hat to the world stage 4 years ago. Even before that, a couple of years, the Euros 2012, I think, is when their young talent really started showing out.
And Tanzania too. They're ranked 21. I didn't realize they were ranked that high. Like there's some teams where I'm like shocked about their world ranking.
Tunisia, not Tanzania. Tunisia.
Yeah.
I know Tunisia.
Down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some head scratchers about how they're in the World Cup, but like the Panamas and the Moroccos, even though Morocco beat Iran, and even Iran, like I feel like there are countries that we would love to be like. I would much rather be watching Chile than Iran in the World Cup.
The Saudi
Like I'm not even.
too.
How do you play soccer in sand?
They play beach soccer. There's a beach soccer league. I mean, maybe they're best off playing that.
I didn't know it just transferred that well.
But yeah, like think the big 4 teams that missed it. Like imagine a World Cup in which those 4 teams were in with the rest of the talent that we see. And I mean, the teams that I'm kind of putting down, they deserve to be there because they did what they need to. They qualified. They went through their qualifiers. They took care of business. But like I'm just making the hypothetical statement. Like imagine if you're seeing the United States, the Netherlands, Italy, and Chile in this World Cup with all the rest of the talent that you see, and how much greater the World Cup could have been. Instead of seeing, the 5-0 Russia-Saudi Arabia game, the 3-0 Belgium-Panama game, and stuff like that. The Morocco-Iran game was close. I think that one ended 1-0. But I don't see either of them really doing anything when they play Portugal or Spain.
Yeah, I expect those to be wash games.
So it'll be, since Portugal and Spain tied, it'll be like, all right, who beats who by how much? It's going to come down to goal differential. So that let us move on to the hot topic here in San Antonio.
Here you go.
Because I have a lot to say about the Kawhi thing.
Newsflash, deep shit.
We need that breaking news sound right there.
Casey's fuego topic.
Well, first of all, like I said to y'all earlier, and I tweeted out, like, I just want this whole thing to be over. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of listening to it. I'm tired of not getting any answers from anything. It's so played out now that I'm just like, please, let's get to the finale. Let's finish this. Let's get to next season already. Whether Kawhi resigns, whether he leaves, like, I just want it over. Mm-hmm. Like I told y'all, like, if he resigns with the Spurs, he's a Spur. He's on my team. He's a great player, and I'm going to appreciate him and root for him. If he goes to another team, I'll still think he's a great player.
But you're fucking trash.
But
trash.
You have terrible taste in basketball.
but I'm rooting against you now.
But I hate you and I hope you die.
Now you're my sworn enemy.
Well, and it's like Wilbon on SportsCenter the other day when the news came out that the reports that Kawhi wants to be traded to LA.
The Woj bomb.
It wasn't Woj. It was Chris Haynes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a Lakers, LA beat reporter guy.
Of course.
But
then Woj picked it up and everybody fucking caught fire.
Well, see, and the thing is a lot of people overreacted to the Chris Haynes thing, and then Woj was like, Kawhi really hasn't said anything other than he would like to play in LA, and Sacramento's another choice of his that he would like to play in. But he had Woj was saying he hasn't said that he's not going to play for the Spurs.
It was just earlier in the week where he reports were saying that he's going to re-sign with San Antonio.
With the Supermax.
Yeah. And then later on in the week, that's when the Chris Haynes report said, he doesn't care about the money. He just wants to play in LA.
Yeah, that's why I'm
get $31 million.
I was come on.
So tired of it that I wanted to end. But Wilbon went in on the advice that Kawhi is receiving. He was like, whoever is advising him is doing a terrible job. They're doing a terrible job at advising. They are giving him poor advice. And I've always thought throughout the whole season is how, and I mean, I've been a Spurs fan my whole life, and so I've been able to watch kind of firsthand, them holding on to guys like Matt Bonner for, 3 years too long. Them always giving the benefit of the doubt to the players, always keeping the health of a player in their mind, always putting the future of the player's career in the forefront.
Yeah, the whole medical staff, even Pop said it multiple times, if there's something going on, if there's any kind of question, we're always going to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
If there's something going on and we don't know about it, you're going to sit.
Yeah,
that's it.
And that's what Pop and the Spurs were saying is we have cleared him to play, but if he doesn't think he can play, we're not going to force him to play.
Uh-huh.
That was the whole thing. And so the whole year I was like, what has got into Kawhi's head that he can't trust the most trustworthy NBA franchise?
You're the only person who can't trust him.
I mean, LaMarcus wanted a trade, and people were like, oh, well, LaMarcus last year wanted a trade. LaMarcus wanted a trade because he thought he was the type of player that he was this year, but he wasn't being used the same way he was used this year. And that's all it took. That's what people were overblowing. Well, LaMarcus couldn't get along with Pop. No, LaMarcus got along with Pop fine. LaMarcus just thought that he wasn't being used in the appropriate way because who was being used the appropriate way?
Kawhi.
The guy who played 9 games this season and now doesn't trust the medical staff of a team that held Tim Duncan in his prime out of the playoffs for a year because of a knee injury.
And then on top of that, there were reports that apparently the Spurs had a family gathering for Pop's late wife, and that Kawhi was there.
Yeah,
and that it seemed like never missed a beat. Everything was fine. It seemed like
that's
typical.
It's so going back and forth that I feel like the Chris Haynes report about him being traded is his that group saying, yeah, and I'm sure even Kawhi would say it. I wouldn't put it against Kawhi saying it either.
I'd like to play in LA.
That being taken out of context.
Kawhi wants to be traded. He says, fuck the Spurs. And really, he just said, I like LA. I'm from there. I'd like to play there.
Why? If he does get traded and he still doesn't say anything, does that make him look bad in your guys' eyes?
No.
Bitch mode.
That's what I said.
You need to say something.
Yeah.
Even Boogie, when he got traded, was crying at the airport.
Yeah, I mean, so
they left the leave him at the airport.
Is I don't even I've said it. I would love to hear the saying is coming from the horse's mouth. I would love to hear Kawhi come out and say something because he's been questioned. I think once the last 6 months. Because
he's in hiding.
Nobody else. He got questioned one time when he was with the Spurs around the Spurs practice, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to be a Spur for life."
Kawhi's in the safe house.
But at the same time, when they were talking about when that report came out where he's going to re-sign with the Spurs, and you also hear one Pop's in New York with Kawhi. He pops in New York to meet with Kawhi.
Is
and then you hear Tim Duncan going up there too.
Pop was in New York. Kawhi was in California, and Tim was going up to New York to meet Pop, and I guess Kawhi was supposed to fly back to New York. They were supposed to have a meeting. I saw a picture of them sitting at a table together, but I don't know if it was... I didn't go and look at resources or anything.
And then there was pictures of Kawhi walking into a building, some kind of structure, with his silver and black Nike shorts. And it's like, oh...
Yeah,
that's Spurs colors.
Yeah, like it's... I was listening to a couple of customers of mine today that hang out in the lobby every morning talking about the Kawhi thing, and I was listening to them because they both think that he's going to get traded. And
For those who don't know, Casey does hand jibs on the side. Those are his customers.
Yeah.
Favors.
I get tipped very well. But I was like, you'll be surprised with what ends up happening, because like I personally still think that Kawhi will be a Spur this season.
Mm-hmm.
But it would not surprise me one bit if Thursday night Kawhi hasn't, like, if Kawhi and Pop have not come to that like buddy agreement that, hey, you're signing this extension, which they can even announce. Like if they come to an agreement, they can announce Kawhi's going to sign the extension. He just can't sign it
till July 1st.
I don't know if he has to sign it by July 1st. That's what it is. I think he has to sign by July 1st for the Supermax deal.
I thought they couldn't offer it until July. I mean, that's not, like, formally offer it.
I think the contract extensions for players who are still under contract have to be done by July 1st. And if they're not done by July 1st, then you can't like re-sign their extension until the season starts. Some weird rule like that. But if they don't have an agreement by Thursday, and now hear me out. Here's part of my other thought.
You're saying this Thursday?
Yeah, the draft. The
oh
draft
shit,
is
that's
Thursday.
right. The draft is fucking Thursday.
Which makes me realize that we should have done a draft preview mock draft thing like we did for the NFL.
If Kawhi's not with the Spurs, then it's going to be Mo Bamba.
Well, so here's the thing. If the Kings are, because they're reportedly interested,
Man,
Kawhi has them
everybody's
in their
interested.
sights. Sacramento has the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to move out from the number 2 pick.
They're looking to trade the number 2 pick. Now, they might not have the greatest players in the world right now, but they have some guys that interest me. Skal Labissiere is still young. He's a 7-footer who can shoot threes. And Justin Jackson, who they just drafted out of North Carolina in the second round, maybe the late first last year, is that 6'7", 3-point shooter, good defender. He's like a taller Danny Green.
Is he a better Danny Green?
Not at this moment.
At this
The ceiling of Justin Jackson is much higher than Danny Green's ceiling. And Justin Jackson would fit in very nicely into that Rudy Gay role that is now leaving since he opted out of his deal.
What is he expecting?
That's what the whole thing was. He was signing a 2-year deal with a player option to audition for other teams. So it would not surprise me to see a team like Detroit, Atlanta, one of those teams who needs that wing player to go alongside with some of those other guys that they have.
But what's he expecting? He's turning down $9 million.
He'll probably get 12.
Expecting,
He'll probably get 12 to 15 by the year he had this year, and the types of guys that you need to compete
for
with.
like another 2-year contract with a player option. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Like, think about him going to Toronto and pairing him up with Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, OG Anunoby. What was the other guy's name? The other rookie that was playing.
I was just thinking, imagine him going back to Memphis with Gasol and Conley.
Yeah, that would. Like, there's plenty of teams that are going to offer him contracts. Milwaukee, that'd be another good fit, pairing him with the Greek Freak and Jabari Parker. But
Coach Bud.
Yeah, but to get back to the Kings trade, that like if they offered that for Kawhi, I would probably do that. If Kawhi, like, and this is going with the hypothetical that by Thursday night Kawhi hasn't agreed to sign an extension with the Spurs, because they would get Luka Doncic, and we all know how much the Spurs love foreign players. Now think about an 18-year-old Ginobili being able to play his entire career with the Spurs.
Man, that's what we said about Kawhi when we drafted him.
No, we said no. When we drafted Kawhi, you know what we expected? We expected Bruce Bowen.
First of all, y'all didn't draft Kawhi. Indiana did.
Y'all
traded for him.
Technically, yes, Indiana drafted him.
Y'all traded for him.
Yeah, we traded George Hill, who was like Pop's adopted son at the time.
But my favorite Spur at the time, I got the shoes up there, and I have the autographed jersey in the closet.
So does looking at this MVP Kawhi poster disgust you right now?
No. You do see the
where's Pusha T at?
Hey, you do see the thing that's in his other hand with the MVP trophy, the championship trophy that came with it.
I see it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. We got another championship out of it.
Yeah, man. Fuck bitches, get championships.
That's the life of an NBA team.
It's the life of the Spurs. Fuck bitches.
So
bitches, I mean bitch ass.
I don't know if y'all have y'all welcomed yourself to the world of Luka Doncic. Have y'all watched any of the clips? Do y'all know anything about him?
I don't know foreign TV.
Well, he's been all over NBA TV for the entire year. But
I don't have foreign NBA TV.
Well, the only things I've been hearing is that a lot of teams are thinking of like passing up on him for.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely
I heard he's thinking about passing up on everybody at the same time.
No, he came out last week and was like, "No, I'm entering the draft." He's not withdrawing his name. And he'll be at the draft if they close out the championship, the league championship, I think tomorrow or Wednesday. And you got to realize that he's playing for FC Barcelona, who is the probably best team outside of the United States in the world. He's 18 years old. He's winning MVPs. He's winning championships over there. He's been playing professionally this is his third or fourth year being a professional. He's 6'8", has great court vision. I won't say he's a LeBron type passer because LeBron is otherworldly, but he's Ben Simmons with a jump shot. And we saw what Ben Simmons did this year. Ben Simmons is slightly taller, but Doncic has every bit of the making of a top 5 player in the league.
The next year All-Star?
Yes.
Man, that was supposed to be Porzingis.
Which he very well could be, but the problem with Porzingis is he's 7'3", and when was the last 7'3" guy who played an entire healthy career?
How tall is Dirk?
7, maybe 6'11".
Close enough.
Close.
Well, all I'm saying is the common argument is the whole level of competition.
DeAndre Ayton is playing guys who are like 6'8" playing center. The level of competition in college basketball
it's not at the level of like Spain basketball.
This is the second best league in the world. This is the league that
like
Manu
pros.
cut his teeth in, that Powell and Marc Gasol cut their teeth in. Well, Marc
played here.
Well, he actually played in Spain. He went to high school here, but he was playing professionally in Spain too.
Like Barbosa came from Barcelona squad. Like,
man, fuck a Barbosa. Only Barbosas I know are pirates. I don't give a damn about no damn pirates. All I'm saying is tread cautiously with European players. We've had a lot of people like, all right, cool, this is going to be the next Euro star. This is going to be the next Euro star.
well, what's the same thing with college players too?
No. See, here's so the ones that I can remember of recent note. You have your Darko, who honestly just went to a bad draft situation. He went to Detroit and they traded for Sheed. They had Ben Wallace. they had Antonio McDyess. They pretty much said, we're drafting you 7 foot, 18-year-old, and we're never playing you. They didn't try to develop Darko. That was a whole misfire on Detroit. They shouldn't have drafted him because they didn't need him. They drafted him because of what could have been. Ricky Rubio has turned out to be a fine NBA player, but he wasn't necessarily the star that we thought we were going to get. Ricky Rubio is also like 6'2", 6'3". Doncic is 6'8". You have, Porzingis, who has looked amazing when healthy, and he was drafted number 4 overall. The record over the last, I'd say, 15 years of the guys who are like, these are can't miss European stars, have been pretty consistently right. Other than the T-Wolves should not have drafted Ricky Rubio.
Well, they also drafted Johnny Flynn in the same draft, right?
They drafted, I think, Rubio with the 4th pick, Johnny Flynn with the 6th pick. Guess who was the 7th pick, guys? A guy by the name of Stephen Curry. The T-Wolves passed twice on point guards not named Steph Curry in that draft. One of the problems with why the Warriors are so good is other teams just passed on Clay, passed on Draymond, passed on Steph. Got the luck of the Steph getting hurt, allowing them to re-sign other guys, putting Steph on a lower contract.
Bringing in Kevin Durant.
Getting Kevin Durant the 1 year that the salary cap boosted. Because if they didn't because they thought the salary cap was going to increase by so much, or they were going to get so much revenue, so they put the salary cap higher that 1 year, and then the next year when they realized that the revenue didn't go up, that they dropped the salary cap by like $12 million. So Golden State had a lot of lucky breaks to be able to keep the team that they have.
Sounds like their whole fucking lifetime has been lucky breaks. Literal ones too.
The last like 5 years, I would say, yes.
The salt.
Because before then, they didn't have the richest of history of winning.
They don't have history of winning.
They have the last 5 years.
Shit.
Let them rejoice, man. Let them rejoice.
But
shut up. Oh.
So here's.
I rejoice in hold them.
Yeah, again, so to me it's crazy that teams are even thinking about passing on Doncic. The only one that makes sense of passing on Doncic is the Suns, because they already have been dealing with so many guards that they don't need another guard.
That's just the story of Phoenix. They got all the guards.
And technically Doncic is more of a point forward, because he is a legitimate 6'8" with range out to like 27, 30 feet. The last game that he played, he's sitting there and he's hitting step back threes and pull up transition threes.
From NBA threes.
Yeah, like go watch yourself some Doncic highlight film and get familiar with how good he is.
Man, I don't got no European internet either.
YouTube, man.
This is America. I don't got European YouTube.
America.
YouTube.com.
Because I mean,
YouTube.eu.
Y'all know how big I've been on Marvin Bagley the entire year. Because I was riding the Marvin Bagley bandwagon.
Marvin Bagwagon. God damn, I cracked myself up.
A little bit of a stretch. I'm not so sold on Jaren Jackson for Michigan State, but everybody's like this guy is, possibly the best big man in the draft. Mo Bamba, I think, is going to be a lot as good as advertised.
Man, Porter Jr.
And he's a big X factor, because who knows if he's going to get healthy and be healthy his entire career.
And you got a bad back. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
19 years old with a bad back. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, 6'10", 19 years old with a bad back.
But
like,
with the grandpa back.
Right. Braun's 33 and he's got a bad back.
I think there are going to be some misses because I think some teams are going to shoot for the moon and not even reach the stars. It's going. I think some people are. I think you're going to see a lot of trades. I think that it's going to be kind of similar to the NFL draft, where you see quite a few trades. People being like, okay, well, let's try to get up to 7 to get this player because there are. This is a pretty deep draft as far as high ceilings go. The problem is that when you get to like the 8th or 9th players in the draft, as high of a ceiling that they might have, the floor to their game is out of the NBA in 3 years. A guy like Trae Young, who everybody's like could be a Steph Curry type player. He's 6'1", 6 foot even maybe. And he doesn't have the ball handling ability that Steph does.
That's what they said about Steph when he was in Davidson.
No.
He's small. He's got bad ankles. He ain't shit.
The only thing that they said about Steph was he was skinny. Because Steph is like 6'4". Steph
I thought
isn't
Steph
short.
was like 6'2".
Steph is like 6'4", but he's like 110.
That's wet.
That's the thing is he's taller than like Patty Mills tries guarding Steph and Steph is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna just shoot over the top of you.
Well, Kevin Love tries to guard Steph. He's like, I'm going to shoot right over the top of you.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm just going to throw this up like that.
Yeah, that's true.
You like Tristan, we cut from a different cloth.
But to circle it back around and to finish up the Spurs Kawhi thing is that would be pretty much the only trade I would take this moment unless Boston decides to go insane and trade like Tatum and Brown and they're number one this year. Or not even the number one this year, but trade Tatum, Brown, and the Sacramento one next year, which is like it's protected to Boston if it's not in the top 5, I believe. So it would be if the Spurs get that pick, it's guaranteed top 5.
Man, they're not even going to trade Tatum. They'll probably like try to throw Gordon Hayward in there and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that's one of the conversations is, man, they might end up trading Kyrie. Keeping Rozier as the starting point guard, trading Kyrie, getting what they can for him.
Because Kyrie is now promising an extension.
If I'm Boston, I'm just standing pat. Run it back with the team you have. If you're healthy, you're winning the East.
Oh yeah.
The only way I'd see you not winning the East is if LeBron re-signs with Cleveland. And even then, you're still probably winning the East because Cleveland doesn't have many other moves to make. They're just going to have to salary dump and hope that they can get some guys.
Well, yeah.
Well, LeBron is gone, isn't he? That's pretty much set in stone.
Nah. Kevin Love is gone. That's like set in stone.
That's.
Where's Kevin Love going?
I'm just waiting for the first week of July because
Kevin Love coming to San Antonio since we lose on Rudy Gay.
No,
You got to trade for him though.
No, we're gonna just get him.
Here, you guys want him?
Yeah,
that's
exactly. And you know what? How bad business Cleveland does, and that's exactly how it's gonna happen. You want him?
That goes to what I was trying to say. I think earlier this season, when we did our little trade deadline, like what we wanted to see the trade for, I had sent Kevin Love to New Orleans and DeMarcus Cousins to. Well, I sent DeMarcus Cousins to Cleveland, like pairing LeBron with DeMarcus Cousins,
And it almost happened too. There were plenty of reports saying that Boogie almost went to Cleveland.
So, it's the off season hasn't really even started, and it's already interesting.
It's just all the scenarios.
It's like the past couple seasons, the off season.
That's why the NBA has become such a year round sport now.
Yeah, man. And then we got presidents with burner accounts. What the hell is this? Some fucking mob type shit.
The GM.
Ex-GMs resign. President of basketball operations. Like, yo,
it's such a
they always keep you on your toes. What's gonna happen today?
I wake up every morning to check Twitter just to see, like, all right, what the fuck happened?
There's gonna be a picture of Kawhi in his Spurs jersey, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, it's happening! He's back!"
And then he's gonna tear it off, and he's gonna be in like a fucking Boston Celtics jersey.
They're gonna see some random black kid with some braids with the LA Leonard jersey, and they're gonna be like, Kawhi's already wearing a Lakers jersey.
It's
gonna be something.
Yeah, Thursday. You could see a lot of movement happening because GMs are talking already. Cleveland's looking to make a trade with the Spurs apparently, and that goes to my I was saying my dream scenario, whichever way you want to pronounce it.
Say tomato.
Tomato.
Was a sign and trade deal. Kawhi for LeBron. Send Kawhi up to Cleveland.
Good luck in the wasteland.
Good luck with JR.
Just die in Lake Erie.
Good luck with Tyronn Lue.
You didn't trust us? There you go. Have fun.
Learn what trust is now, bitch.
Well, let's get into the on fire and dire in our prophecies. And wrap up that basketball conversation. Alvin, who's on fire for you?
Oh, my fire, the Ronaldo hat trick. I mean, when he scored that hat trick, like the whole lunch area just went up.
Man, hat trick with the PK. Get the fuck out of here.
But that was a beautiful bit.
No.
The hell couldn't do anything but watch it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Ronaldo might be the best free kick taker in the world because he's one of the few. Him and Zlatan, they can do things to a soccer ball that not many other people can do. Just by the power that they can get behind the shot. And I don't know which commentator was talking about the Ronaldo goal. But he was comparing, the types like Messi and the types like Ronaldo, where Messi, he gets around the ball, he spins it, he bends it over the wall, and kind of lets the finesse take place. Where Ronaldo just kicks it with the laces and lets that ball knuckle into the goal, where it letting wherever the air takes it. And he hits it with such power that if the goalie isn't see it right away, there's nothing he can do because that ball's already past him.
Yep, they just had to sit there and watch it go in, just hook right in the top corner.
Yeah,
couldn't do nothing about it.
Andrew, yours.
Well, clearly I gotta go to Mexico. Starting an earthquake in Mexico. Viva. Beating Germany. I mean, maybe they might have celebrated too much.
They were crying on the field, bro.
It was a hell of a game, man. Dude, they were plus 600 underdogs.
Hey,
that means if you were to bet $100 on them to beat Germany, you would have walked home with an extra 600.
Hey, but we was talking about Chucky Lozano, Vela, Hernandez. They gotta show out.
Yeah, and at the same time, we also were talking about Germany, the Patriots. They always come to ball out. Yeah, they always come to ball out.
Yeah, and it's funny because the last 3 defending World Cup champions have lost their first game the next World Cup. And I also saw that in the last 6 World Cups, Mexico was 5-0-1 in their opener.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And Germany and their openers, they were smashing it too.
Yeah, Mexico did what they needed to do. Not to toot my own horn, but I did pick them to win the group because I had them beating Germany. So toot.
Not to toot my own horn. Two times. Toot.
Make sure you heard that. So yeah, I was thinking of going with Ronaldo. I had it written down. I figured that one of y'all. I came with backups today. I figured that one of y'all might put Ronaldo down, so I'm going to go with the guy who won it today for England and Harry Kane, getting the 2 goals.
His first 2 goals actually for England.
Yeah, just being Johnny on the spot pretty much in that last goal where he was just kind of standing there by himself. Unmarked, ball kind of floated to him, and you look at the goalie, and he's standing maybe like 5 feet away from Harry Kane, and he's like, oh shit, where is he going to put this ball? And he just sneaks it right next to him. Like, that ball probably was 3 feet away from the goalie when it went in, going through the near post.
It reminded me of that Lukaku header earlier. Like, it's just, like, so close, like, they hit the ball, like, you got no time to react.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, why wasn't the goalie prepared for it? Because if Harry Kane heads it to the other side of the goal, Tunisia had 2 guys to at least prevent the goal from going in. So all the goalie needed to do was protect the near post, and he wasn't ready to protect the near post. And Harry Kane snuck it in there. England got the 3 points, which was... needed because they need to handle their business against Tunisia and Panama, and hope that they can come out with some sort of like a draw against Belgium. But it still looks like Belgium will probably win that group unless they lose to England because of the goal differential. So that was Harry Kane is on fire for me today. Now to go into the Dyer situation. I had a few written down because I wasn't sure where our conversations were gonna lead. My Dyer is Egypt because they didn't play. They didn't put Mo Salah in, which I understand the reasoning. Like, you're in the game. It's tied. It's 0-0. You've been holding serve, playing defense,
All the more reason why to use him as a super sub.
Keeping Uruguay at bay, and then you use your last sub. You end up giving up a goal in the last 10 minutes of play. You end up losing to Uruguay. Now you have one less day of rest than Russia, the host country, does, who just came off of an easy opener.
Right.
So
right. You just saw them 5-0 somebody.
So if Egypt draws with Russia might advance out of this group, and it'll come down to how much Uruguay can beat Russia by, and how much Egypt can beat Saudi Arabia by.
Well, now Egypt is not playing. Now they're not playing with their cards. Now they're hoping that somebody else makes the play for them. Like Uruguay beating Russia, and then them having to beat Russia.
Egypt has to beat Russia tomorrow. If Egypt doesn't beat Russia tomorrow, then they're out. As simple as that. So that's why Egypt is my team / person in Dyer this week. Alvin, who's in Dyer?
My Dyer, I had a backup too, but I don't want to say the name of that one. But I'm going to also go with FIFA, and it's going to be with Germany. That defense, that back line from center mid back looked old and slow against Mexico. Mexico had the gas on the pedal every time, and the counters was just like.
And that's when we did our preview. That's what we talked about with Mexico against Germany is the youth, the athleticism, the quickness of the striking force for Mexico against Germany's tried and true formula of big, tall, old defenders.
Like, I felt like they had their fullbacks playing up too high on the pitch, which made them get easily countered on. And they was just expecting, Boateng and Hummels and Neuer that they'll be able to stop the attacks. But like we mentioned before, Lozano coming from the Netherlands league, like he showed out in that league, showed what he could do, and then he does it for Mexico.
Yep, they did what they
all
needed
started
to
crying
do,
and popping Dos Equis and Coronas in the fucking locker
Man,
room.
Mexicans are very emotional people. So
I mean, that's
shut the fuck up.
I did say that like it was probably Mexico's like biggest win, maybe not necessarily in terms of what it meant, but like beating Germany and Russia in the first game of the World Cup, like that's a big deal for the last, like think of all the years that Chicharito's been with the Mexican national team. I think this is his third World Cup now. And he was playing even a couple years before that, I think. Like, think of all the teams that Marquez has been on. He's the third player in World Cup history to play in 5 World Cups, and like to beat this like Germany, who is FIFA's #1 team in the world. Like that's a big deal to Mexico. That's a big deal in the World Cup and world soccer, because all it does is help set up my Brazil-Germany round of 16. Andrew, you're on with your Dyer.
My Dyer, I had 2 also, but I mean, I'm gonna go with Messi and Argentina. Just didn't look good. I mean,
man, they draw, but you felt like they lost that game.
Yeah,
right?
they did lose that game.
Yeah.
That's how you come away.
Because I was like, man, that was the same thing with Spain and Portugal. It was like, the score says it's a draw, but we know you really lost.
Yeah. Well, but it's like
Messi
they
had all the chances.
They really lost because, man, they had all the chances. Not just Messi, but like Di Maria had chances, and
Higuain.
Yeah,
he blew his chance.
They all had
a bunch of missed opportunities,
and they couldn't put another into the back of the net.
My cousin that's heavily into watching FIFA and all that, he says that Messi always goes left on his penalty kicks too. I'm like,
no, he doesn't.
I'm like, if he does that, if he like truly did that, like if that was like a true like stat, like most of the times he does go left, like with basketball players. Like, oh, he likes to go left. He likes, you know what I mean? But, like, if they, like, scouted that, like, props.
No,
that was just, like...
Messi is the guy Messi is the guy in the world that goes to the middle the most. He does that little chip penalty kick right down the middle because he knows the goalie's going to dive. So all he does, I would probably say half the time he just chips it down the middle and does a little tricky penalty kick that way. Quick side note, I don't remember who it was, but did y'all see, I think it was in the, what game was it? It might have been Peru. Costa Rica, maybe. God damn it, I don't remember. Somebody had a penalty kick, and they did the, like, run up, stop, reset, run up to take the penalty kick, and kick the ball, like, 20 yards over the post. It was terrible.
I think that was in the Costa Rica game.
Yeah, I feel like it was Costa Rica. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, Argentina, man, they just... we kind of touched on it earlier. Is Iceland plays that style. Iceland plays sit back, don't give up goals. And when you happen to be able to get onto a counterattack, use your 6'4" strides and just try to outrun the guys and play outside in. Iceland did what they needed to do in order to try to advance. The odds of them beating Argentina were slim to none, so the draw was the best that they were really going for. And you could kind of see that with how they played. And I didn't watch much of the Portugal-Spain match. I saw maybe like 10 minutes of it. So I don't know if y'all watched the whole thing. How did Spain guard Ronaldo?
They were tripling him.
Were they out in space?
Yeah, they were tripling him.
Because, yeah, like, Messi's always so close to the box that he has the, like, triangle around him. And then once he makes a move, you see another two guys kind of start creeping his way. And they, like, form a wall around him. So that's just Iceland's strategy. That's what made them... It was in the Euros. I think we were talking when we did the World Cup talk last week. I was trying to figure out when Iceland kind of came onto the map in soccer, and it was in the Euros 2 years ago, where I think they made it to like the quarters in the Euros, of just playing that, 8 men in the box. Like, you're not going to score more than a goal on us, so all we have to do is score one on you. Kind of attacks, and going forward, Argentina has to win. They have to. I'm not sure. I didn't look at who they play next, but it puts them in a must-win situation. Which brings us to prophecies. Andrew, you can follow it up. Prophesize.
Sticking with World Cup, I've got Mexico handling South Korea Saturday, 3-0.
Very nice. Probably going to happen. I think this is going to be a much easier game. I think a lot of the pressure is off of Mexico now because they're not playing Germany anymore. They've gotten that World Cup opener out. They got 3 points.
At the same time, I don't want them to get hung over off of that Germany win.
Yeah, right. Too much cervezas.
That's some racist ass shit. God,
they're in Russia. They're probably drinking potato vodka.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Smirnoff. Even though I think that's like distilled in the United States. Alvin, your prophecy.
My prophecy is actually I got Mexico losing and Germany winning, so we have an even more interesting group that going 1-1.
Yeah, we'll go down there.
And if Korea, that Korean Sweden game was like so like tippy, like if they go out playing like that, like I could feel like it can agitate them because they're just how they agitated Neymar with the fouls with Switzerland.
Yeah, and I mean what y'all touched on earlier about how many fouls were in the Korea-Sweden game. If Korea and Sweden had so many yellow cards, and they get yellow cards in these next games, like South Korea, if they may lose to Mexico. Let's just say 1-0, but they get 3 guys on a yellow carded again. Germany's going out there and playing a barren South Korea squad with something to prove.
And this game, Human Son, their star player in Korea, he didn't even do anything this game.
Yeah, so, like we've been saying, I think it was an interesting first weekend, which let me finish up the prophecies before I saw something on television that makes me want to get to another thing that I wanted to go on and rant about. So my prophecy is Messi with the bounce back, getting a hat trick. Kind of. I think he was some of the shots you could see that he was probably like thinking too much. He wasn't really letting the game come to him. He was like, I have to do this. He was feeling the pressure.
He was trying to make the perfect shot.
Yeah, he knows that. He knows how much pressure is on him to win this World Cup. If he doesn't win this World Cup, he'll enter the next World Cup out of his prime if he's even in it. So it's like this is the one he has to win to cement the legacy, because for a lot of Argentinians and a lot of people worldwide, they'll put Maradona as a better player than Messi because he has the World Cup, mainly because of a hand goal or a handball that turned into a goal. but he has the World Cup trophy, and as much more that Messi has scored and won, and has as much of a better player I think Messi is than Maradona. Maradona has the World Cup, and in soccer, that is the trophy.
Oh yeah, that's where the correction lies. Oh, we said Pele had 2. Pele has 3.
3.
Yeah. So stand corrected.
Yeah.
Oh damn!
This was in like the 50s.
Saucy.
Oh, I said we stand corrected. I didn't say he said. Damn.
No, you said stand corrected. Little boy.
I'm gonna get up on my soapbox really quick. Even though I'm always on it. So, TV, it's The Jump. It's, the rerun of The Jump from earlier today. And it says, do Spurs really need to trade Kawhi? And what made me think of it was the one before it was Amin El-Hassan saying, in the NBA, the players have the leverage, so Kawhi has the leverage. While I think that is mostly true, here's where I disagree in the thought process that I had. So, in a vacuum of what's going on, let's say the Spurs decide there's no way in hell we're trading you to the Lakers. Let's say
Lakers still suck.
Let's say the Lakers sign LeBron James and Paul George, which is what they would hope to do, negating all cap room they have to sign Kawhi when Kawhi is a free agent. So now the Lakers can't really trade for Kawhi because of where they're at in cap space. Mm-hmm. So then you're sending, if the Spurs do trade Kawhi, you're sending him to the Clippers, which the Clippers don't have anything in which the Spurs would trade for. So he's not going to the Clippers. So there goes both LA teams. So there was the Sacramento trade that I said that would interest me and I would probably trade Kawhi for. I really don't see that coming to fruition because it has to be those guys. It has to be Scal, it has to be Justin Jackson, and it has to be the number 2 pick. If it happens, great. Don't see it happening. I personally don't see Kawhi getting traded.
Not even a Boston if Boston offers something?
Boston would have to offer Brown and Tatum, and I don't think they're doing that. I don't think that anybody is trying to trade for Kawhi with the likelihood of him not re-signing there. And the only teams that might do it, you might see a trade at the trade deadline. Let's say that doesn't happen. We hold on to Kawhi all year.
Win another championship.
Now, the team that he would most like to go to doesn't have cap space to sign him. The Clippers are going to be terrible. Why would he go and sign with the Clippers?
DeAndre Jordan's going to be out.
Well, Sacramento's going to be terrible too, but he says he would want to play with Sacramento.
Sacramento might get better. I still believe in Buddy Hield. They have good young talent. They have room, and they have the second pick this year. So they could end up with Marvin Bagley, and they could have the big man. They have Willie Cauley-Stein, who I really like. I think they have good young talent, and Kawhi would really boost them. But they wouldn't be a championship contender with that roster plus Kawhi. So where does Kawhi have the leverage? Because if the Spurs just hold on to him, and he doesn't re-sign next year, and he might not even be eligible for a Supermax deal even then, because he has to make an all-defensive team and an all-NBA team, and we don't know how healthy he is and where he's coming back health-wise, which is what came out today is the Lakers and the Clippers are weary about even trading for him because they don't know where his health is at.
Well, worry about trading for him when they can get him in the offseason was it thinking.
But so that's what I'm getting to.
There's also the argument of trading him now, where you can get the most value from him instead of holding on to him and then you get nothing.
But that goes to the Spurs. I think in this situation have all the leverage, which is rare because the Cavs don't have any leverage when it comes to LeBron because he can opt out. they had leverage in the Kyrie thing, but they blew that. They just said, "Oh shit, oh fuck, go."
Yes. I heard Isaiah Thomas.
And the NBA literally said, "Hey, Isaiah Thomas isn't going to play until December. Are you sure you want to go through with this trade?" And the Cavs were like, "Oh fuck yes." Yeah. they
were like,
have you read the terms of this agreement? They're like, fuck it. It's all the same.
they were like, and then the Celtics was like, here's a second round pick. Okay,
yeah. So
agree.
It really got me thinking when I was hearing them talk about Kawhi has leverage. I think I saw a tweet saying Kawhi has all the leverage. I was like, Kawhi really doesn't have any leverage, because the Spurs aren't stupid enough to do something that drastic to trade him for not something he's not worth. Because if they were that stupid,
what do they look like? The Kings?
LaMarcus would have been gone last year if they were like, well, this guy doesn't want to be here. He has to ask for a trade. And let's see what we can get for him. Oh shit, we can't get anything for him. Like, this is the best deal, but it's really like a quarter on the dollar. Let's just trade him because he wants to be traded. The Spurs didn't operate that way. Pop sat down with LaMarcus, hashed things out. LaMarcus had his best year with the Spurs.
And the thing is, the Spurs don't have to trade him to the Lakers just because that's like on his list.
I mean,
they could trade him to like the fucking Nets.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll fucking take it.
Yeah, and that's
what about Kawhi to Brooklyn or D'Angelo Russell and what's that other kid?
We don't need a point guard. I'm okay with Doncic because he can play small forward.
We don't need a goddamn point guard.
But Doncic giving
right. That's a point forward.
He's what the Spurs really need, as far as, because they need an heir apparent to Manu, and Doncic is a taller Manu. I mean, we just love Manu so much because he's been here for so long. But think about what we were getting in Manu in 2003. We were getting a 24-year-old that had been in Spain for the previous 5 seasons when we drafted him in 99. We thought we were getting a great player because of how good he was overseas. We didn't know how great he was going to end up. Now think about getting, like I said earlier, think about getting Manu Ginobili when he was 18 and getting that 5 extra years. Like, how good of an NBA player Manu would have been. But yeah, the Spurs, I think, have all the leverage, which is why I saw the Amin El-Hassan thing right there. Kawhi's, the only leverage Kawhi has is the fact that if the Spurs don't make a move by next summer, we could lose him for nothing. But there's still plenty of time to figure out what's going on. That's why it would surprise me to not see him in the Spurs uniform to start the year unless we got some great deal, like a Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma and the Lakers first round pick this year.
I'd be totally cool with that.
Yeah,
I like Brandon Ingram.
Me too.
I like Kyle Kuzma.
And think about how good of a team we were this year without Kawhi, with LaMarcus as our main player, and think about, instead of having Kyle Anderson, having Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
Think about, instead of having Joffrey Laverne, having Brandon Ingram.
Fucking Joffrey Laverne. God.
So
he was so hyped on Joffrey Laverne.
He was.
I was, and then I watched
he looked good for like a week.
The first couple games, and then he started throwing up these falling down hook shots and got hurt, and he just never looked like he actually fit into the system.
He didn't look like he fit in playing basketball. I don't think he was good at basketball.
That loppy kid that's at the basketball park that wants to play, but you gotta let him play.
The guy
he's tall. He's on our team.
The guy who looks great when all the other NBA players aren't trying in preseason.
For real.
And then once they start trying, they're like, oh yeah, he's not very good.
Markel Fultz.
Damn.
So that was the last thing I wanted to get off my chest tonight. Let's wrap it up. This has been the Benchwarmers podcast. I have been and will always be Casey Coggins, here with Alvin Hebert.
Yo, quick note. Hurricane has more goals than Wayne Rooney ever had with the English squad in one game.
Oh, poor Wayne Rooney.
Trash.
Oh shit! Big 3 season starts on Friday.
And Andrew Lara over here talking about the big 3.
Hey man, 3-on-3 basketball is the future.
Not. That's what they were saying
As soon as they stop tape delaying it.
That's what they were saying about 7-on-7 football.
Shit.
All right, we'll see y'all next week, maybe later this week. We'll see how it all plays out because NBA draft Thursday night. We'll see what's going on then. Draft cast? Draft cast.
We'll